I changed most of the tie rod ends. I left 2 of them where the steering dampeners are attached because I wanted to order new steering dampeners, and then I wasn't too sure about jumping on that right away. I'm gonna climb under there today, and we're gonna change both tie rod ends on that one cross rod, and the 2 steering dampeners, and the shocks themselves. So that's what today's plan is. We got a 2001 Newmar Mountaineer, and here's some of the tools I'm gonna use. Ooh, this is one of the tie rod ends here. You see what that looks like. You got your castle nut, all that good stuff. So let's get under there and take a look at it and see what we got. Alright, to give you perspective, this is one of the ones that we changed previously. This is a new one. That's a new one. And then we did a new one there and a new one there as well. And then on the drag link here, we put a new one up here that goes up to the steering box. So the only ones left are right here. See, we got our 2 steering dampener shocks here. So this is where they attach to the cross rod. Still in good shape, but I'm gonna show you what this one looks like. And this is the one that definitely needs to be changed. This one is actually coming apart, so it needs to be changed out, and I think that's where my little bit of play in the steering wheel is coming from, because I had originally changed out these other ones and that fixed a lot of it. So we're gonna do that, and then if I've got the right tools, I'm gonna change the shocks themselves out, and then the whole front end outside of the ball joints is gonna be basically new. So after that, if for some reason I still have a little bit of play and all of that, I'll change the get the ball joints changed out. That's not something I'm gonna do myself, but here we go. So wish me luck. We got the old steering dampeners off, so you're gonna have bushings on each end. You'll have a nut on each end, so I'm gonna reuse these boots. Now if you push them real slow, you can get them to compress, but you can see where they go through right there, and then they go through this. So I'm gonna leave this in place so that I don't have to remove all of those bolts or anything like that. The hardest part about this is getting these cotter pins out. That's a good idea, get extra ones just in case you break them for any reason. But that's the hardest part, is trying to bend them, because you have this here that blocks you. So a screwdriver and a pair of pliers works great. But you can see right here, see how that's coming apart? So that's the one that needs to be replaced. We're gonna do cotter pin, castle nut, and then beat these out. Okay, so that turned into a disaster, but here we go. This is the steering rod. Right here is where the shocks had mounted, and they run to the other side, but this is the end that was on it, and as you can see, it came apart, which we had to beat it, and I ended up flattening that side out. We put heat on it and everything, and I've been working on it for about 4 hours trying to get it out. This is the end that was on it, and as you can see, it came apart, which we had to beat it, and I ended up flattening that side out. We put heat on it and everything, and I've been working on it for about 4 hours trying to get it out. Finally got it out. So this is what I was talking about, counting the threads. So right here where my thumb is, you can see the threads. So you want to count those, and you put that nut on the new one on here and leave same amount of threads, so that way when you put it on here, you screw it all the way in till it touches the nut, and then you can use that nut to tighten it down. Now this right here is what you can use to adjust your steering. Alright, I got the new ones in. So these do have torque specs, but basically get it as tight as you can possibly get it, and then put your key in there and you should be good to go. I need to grease it, so you see how that's collapsed. Let's see, there we go. That's collapsed, so I'm gonna put some grease in there here shortly. But that's which one I got. Where I'm going now is I'm gonna put the shock in those holes and in these holes. You can press it down to make it fit and we'll be ready to roll. The shocks I ordered from, let me get you looking at me. I ordered the shocks from Spartan. So I called Spartan themselves and they sent me everything I needed. So here's the little bags with rubber bushings and the little washers that need to go on it. Hey, so this is the next day. It's the ending to replacing the tie rod ends and the shocks on the camper. It did not quite go as planned. Ended up getting the tie rod ends done, which took all day yesterday, so it's all knocked out. We got it, had to heat it up a little bit, had to beat it out. Basically it just took me 6 hours of working on that one to get it out. Got that knocked out, got it all put back together, and then I had to do the alignment on it. So if you hadn't watched the other video of us changing the other ones, long story short, you measure a foot up on your tire, so about here on front and back, and then you run a tape measure straight across. And I use this groove here on both sides of the tire, on this side and one on the other side, and then you do it a quarter of an or a eighth of an inch towed in the front. So your measurement should be an eighth of an inch shorter in the front than it is in the back to give it that little bit of toe in. It's a little tough to get it dead on just because everything is so big, and then when you tighten it down it throws it off a little bit, so you have to try a couple times. But we got it right, so I think my alignment's going to be good again. That's the second time we've had to do that. Pretty much it looks good from what I can tell. Now, we did not get to do the shocks. The shock bolt on the bottom, if you take it all the way out, it looks like you have to take that control arm off for the other tie rods. And I didn't want to take that off again yesterday. I had already had enough. So what I'm going to do is take it to a truck place, let them change the 2 front shocks, and also have them check the front end out, make sure everything else is good, and check those ball joints for me. So that'll give me a reason to bring it in and make sure everything's right, and make sure I didn't mess anything up. You know, just a second opinion always goes a long way. So anyway, that's the end of this one. So on to the next video. Until next time, keep bringing your dreams to reality. Later.